So today what I wanted to talk to you about is how you can find a profitable product to sell on Amazon. Because most of the people, including me, get really hung up on that. And I think you would agree that that's kind of necessary to find a product to sell if you want to sell on Amazon, right? You need to have the product. And I know most people, and all the time everyone's looking for the perfect product, for the product that doesn't take you any effort to sell, for the product that is super cheap to buy, right? That you can buy for $1 or so, and then that you can sell for like $20, $30, right? And that's easy to rank, so you just put it up and it ranks by itself. It's just that I'm not getting right here. Maybe this is better, I don't know. And that you can get for cheap, that you can sell a lot, that it's easy to sell, that you don't have to spend a lot on PPC, that there's no competition but huge sales going on. And the problem why you can't find that product is because this unicorns don't exist. Some of them did exist before, to be honest, but that's years ago, when all you had to do is you put some numbers, or you browse some products, and then you use the Chrome extensions and whatever there is to kind of find out where there's no competition, when there are lots of sales. And though there are more products with some products now have more competition, some products now have less competition and different kind of sales, and you absolutely should have a look into it, what kind of products do well and what kind of products actually sell. You have to do that, right? That's one of the things. But I don't want you to get hung up on that, because there are lots of other things that you should consider and look at, and the way you should see this. Okay, and today I want to elaborate on that a little bit and give you some advice on how to pick a product that actually sells. Okay, so very first in this video, I'm going to tell you kind of the categories that we're going after. And then I'm going to tell you all of the things that we also look at that no one ever talks about when really picking a product, and the mindset that you should have when picking a product, okay? So there are so many things that people do wrong, because everyone is looking. The thing is that you are not the only one looking for products to sell on Amazon, right? Would you agree? Like, how many people are there using the extensions? How many people are out there using the looking on Amazon for the perfect product, for the one thing? There's not the one product, to be honest. Like that times are over. There's so many people looking for the same thing, and the problem is that everyone is looking for very similar criteria, right? Wouldn't you agree that because everyone teaches you, well, look for a product that's lightweight, look for a product that is fits in a shoebox, look for a product that's cheap to buy, look for a product that is, you want to look for all of these things, and everyone is looking for that. So the problem is that if everyone looks for these common criteria, that those products are kind of used up, right? The way that the extensions work, they don't have the whole marketplace. If you look in the Chrome extensions, they don't have all the data of every product in the marketplace. They just have the data of the product that they have in their file, that they have saved, that they have in their database. So they don't have every product. And what happens is that every day they're getting more and more products in, right? They're extending the databases, the programs, whoever it is, if it's Jungle Scout, if it's eGrow, if it's Helium 10, they're just looking out for, like, every day they're getting more data in, right? The more data that they get in, the more products show up. So all of a sudden, you look through a specific criteria, and all of a sudden, a product appears for you. The problem is that this product was this criteria that you looked at. You looked at, the price, the competition, how much it will sell. You looked at, is it small? Does it fit in a shoebox? Is it not electronic? Does it not break? So you look at this criteria, and everyone else looks at that criteria too. And then all of a sudden, for you, this product pops up that wasn't there before. This unicorn, like, oh, this is a great product. Like, you see, there's not so much competition on it. All the numbers look good. The problem is, like, for your competition, it's the same thing, right? So your competitors looks at it the same way. It's like, whoa, that's my unicorn. Like, I found my product. That's cool. And then you start sourcing the product, and you launch the product. But the problem is that all of these people, all of your competitors also looked at that product, and then all of a sudden, that space in Amazon for the keywords or for that product that you thought was so unique, all of a sudden blows up, because if 10 people come in and launch a product into that space that wasn't competitive, well, guess what? All of a sudden it is competitive, right? So how do you find a product that is not getting taken over by the competition. And what we found is the product that do best and long term are the products that other people don't really want to do, right? So we especially look for products that are breakable because no one else do it. We just make sure that the packaging's all right so that it doesn't break. We especially make sure that we look into products that are heavy because no one else want to ship them. You know, everyone want to go with air shipment. We don't mind if it takes longer. You know, it's just a cash flow game to play it out and say, okay, we ship things by sea. You know, your forwarder can help you there. It's not like you have to figure all of this out by yourself. We look at products that other people don't look into. We go for the electronics. You know, we go for all of these things that other people don't go for because that keeps the space unique. That keeps the space, you know, kind of down to a minimum. That keeps you in the space where other people don't want to go into. Okay, this is my first thing. Look at my first lesson for today. Look at all of the common criteria, and then once you looked at the common criteria, do the opposite. Okay, so if the criteria says get something small, get something big. The criteria says don't get electronics, get electronics. So the criteria says don't get something that can break, get something that can break. If the criteria says go for something that has a certain that you can buy for under $2, maybe you buy something that costs $10, right? So this is my very first lesson of products you can find. And the second lesson is there's no unicorn. Okay, this doesn't exist. And you shouldn't look at the whole thing. You shouldn't look at the individual products, to be honest. You shouldn't look at this product is doing well or that product is doing well. You should look at the space. Does the space do okay? Is there demand for the space? What do I mean by space? Space, I mean different products in that one category. So the space, I mean the category. What category actually does well? What category can you go with that does okay? So what category do I mean? For example, you know, you have the broad category, which is pet, you know, the pet category. But what I want you to look at is kind of like you have to have in mind your market that you want to go into later, the people that you want to sell to long term. That's the thing that you should look at. So if you would look at the pet supply industry, like the pets, you know, you have pet toys, you have climbing trees for cats, you have so many different, you have leashes, you have pet clothes, you have, you know, pet supplies, pet toys. So what I want you to look at is kind of where do you want to be? Who do you want to sell to? Do you want to sell to the everyday, you know, person that has a pet, or do you want to sell to the kind of premium pet things, or do you want to sell to the organic pet things? Like, what's your niche? What's your market? Who do you want to sell to? That's so important that you figure that out, because if you only look for that one product, you know, sooner or later the product might get taken over by competition. Sooner or later Amazon does it for itself, you know. Sooner or later Amazon jumps into the market and competes with you, and you don't have a chance to that, you know. So sooner or later, Amazon is a great start, but you have to look at it with a mindset of how can you build out a brand? How can you get out of Amazon, even you're not in Amazon yet, but how can you play in long term? Because the thing is, if you're starting with one product, you're adding 2, 3, 4 different products all over in different categories just because they do well on Amazon. You're in total control of Amazon. Right. What do you do if Amazon shuts you down and you already quit your job? You know, you're already living that lifestyle. You work from home, and you know, what do you do if Amazon closes your account? You're screwed because you have so many different products. You might have 3 different products all over the space. You have one in pet, one in automotive, and one in health, or one in beauty. What do you do then? Like, how do you build out a brand out of that? You have to then focus on 3 different things. You have this scattered focus for like, okay, I can do this for my car brand. I can do this for my pet brand. I can do this for my health and beauty brand. The problem with that is that you have such a scattered focus that you're unable to really build a brand out of it. But if you're in a specific niche, so you're in the pet niche, and then you also figured out, okay, I want to go for the people that, you know, for the luxury pet things, or for the pet things that are made with sustainable materials, or I want to go for the pet things that are really for the everyday person, or I want to go for the affordable things, then it becomes so easy to market out of that space. It becomes so easy to you know, build up a brand in that space, because you can speak to very individual people. You know, like if you're going out and you have these sustainable pet things, you're talking to a complete different person than you have that goes for the cheap pet things. So this is the thing that you need to consider. This is why you can't find a product to sell on Amazon, because you don't know who you want to serve. You know, obviously you have to make sure that your products on Amazon are, you know, that there's a demand for it. Obviously you have to make sure of that. Obviously I have to make sure that you can start somewhere, and when you put your product on Amazon, that you can generate sales on the platform, that you can have some revenue from the platform that you can then take to build out your brand. Obviously that's a step, and obviously that's something you have to look at. That's why I started this video, was kind of the criteria that you should look at. You know, if everyone goes into pet supply and everyone goes into, you know, there's, for example, like these silicone made pouches for bags, for you know, if your dog poos somewhere and you take the bags out just so you can clean it up, you know, like that fits into the criteria perfectly. You know, it's small, it's lightweight, it doesn't break, it's cheap, you know, there's huge demand for this. Now there's huge competition too, but that's exactly what I mean. Like all of the people look at this and like, whoa, this is a perfect thing. 10 people launch it. Well, now it's competitive. You know what I mean? Now it's competitive. So you can't go in that space anymore. But like I say, if you start with something like the pet supply, and I'm not saying you should do that because I've never looked into that, but like the pet supply products that are made of sustainable materials, then you have a niche, right? And these products aren't going to be cheap, so they already fall out of the criteria of like should be below, you know, $5 to buy. Some of these things cost a lot more. You know, if you have pet beds, they are bigger. You know, if you have things like this, like pet mats, you know, mats with I don't know. You know, if you have a bigger dog, you have a big mat where the dog can lay on. You have toys. If all of this is in the niche of like sustainable, then you can market it and build your brand out of Amazon. That should always be your thinking, no matter at what point you are. If you're at the point where you didn't find your product yet, still you have to think about that was a brand mindset. Where do you go? What's your journey? Who are you serving? Because then when you have that sustainable, you know, material kind of pet supply brand, then you can not only reach out to influencers or to market your brand, then you can not only market your brand to people that have, you know, have the pets, and you know, but you can market to the specific person that is you know, has a mind for sustainable things, that has a mind for, is concerned about the environment, and has a pet. You know, it's much easier to speak to that person. If you're putting out ads that speaks to a person, like if you have a pet and you want to save the planet, you know, then check out this brand. You have two criteria. If you're doing the cheap thing and you say, well, if you have a pet and you don't want to spend a lot of money, come to me and buy my stuff. You don't want to sell to those people anyway. You don't want to sell to people that don't have money. You don't want to sell to people that are cheap, because they are not going to give you money anyway, right? So you want to kind of find out who is the person that you want to market to, and then you want to find products that you can sell, and then you want to check kind of in that niche which of these products that sell to the people that I want to sell in the future, that are my people, that I can build my brand on. What products in this niche are also doing okay on Amazon? Okay, then are the products you want to go into for Amazon, right? Not the products that, you know, follow the common criteria. You don't want to see this as an Amazon business. There's no such thing as an Amazon business, okay? So that's my advice for you today. If you like this video, or if you need help to find your product, actually I have a training below. Just check that out. It's a free training where you can find your, where I guide you through the process step by step on how to find a product to sell on Amazon that kind of avoids the criteria. And I take you into my screen and I show you on the computer, like, you know, all of the steps that we go through exactly, what kind of criteria I put in personally, and all of the things that you can do. So make sure to check out that training below. It's a free training, and if you want to know, if you need help to source your product, just reach out. There's an email where I can help you, where I have my dedicated team here in China on the ground that can help you out. And if you like this video, just share it. Make sure that you subscribe to this video, because we're going to shoot you content like this every day, so you can learn and enhance your, you know, your personality. You can learn from this, and you can make more money, make the right choices. Hopefully you follow some of the advice that I share with you. And if you like this, just leave me a comment below what you thought about that, and I'll catch you tomorrow.